Hi, I'm Mark Walker, and I'm joined by Paul Varley, who is the Director of Product Management at Scribe. And in this video, Paul is going to be taking us through the new features in the May release of Scribe Online. So before we get started, Paul, how are you?
I'm doing great today, Mark. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. So why don't you take us through some of these new features that we want to share with people?
All right, thanks, Mark. I'm going to start with a new feature that many of you have asked for on OpenMind.
Okay.
And it's the ability to import and export lookup tables. First, I'm just going to show you the file that I'm working with. It's a simple comma-separated values text file.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and close it in Excel because I need it to be closed in order to import it in Scribe Online. So I won't save that copy. But if I go to the lookup table area, you'll see there's a new button here called Import.
Okay.
And when I click that, it just gives me a file choosing dialog, and I'll choose that comma-separated values file that I talked about. And whereas in the past, you used to have to type in all of the values in your lookup table, and if you had a lot of data, that could be pretty time-intensive.
Right.
This file that we're dealing with here is just a set of names of the United States and their two-letter abbreviations.
So those two-letter postal codes.
Yeah, it's not too much data, but still, there are 50 entries plus the District of Columbia, so it would take you a little while to type that in, whereas with this, we imported it in just a few seconds. And if I open it up now, you'll see that I've got all of the states by name and by postal code.
Terrific.
So that if I want to use this in a map, let's say my source has states listed by their full name and my target, I need to put in a postal code, I can just do a lookup in this table and replace one with the other when I do that. And likewise, of course, not only can I import, I can also export. So if I have the data already in here, I can click the export button. It'll create a CSV file that I can then download. And you'll see then the button turns to Save Export, and I can go ahead and save that on my local file system.
Terrific.
All right, so that's just a handy time saver. The next thing I wanted to show you is a few enhancements that we've made to the execution history screens and the way that you can filter that. So I only have one solution in this organization, and when I view the history, you'll see that I've got a very simple map that runs every hour. It's doing a simple job of just upserting 50 leads from a text file into my Salesforce development org. And you'll see that for the most part, these have all gone well. You know, I'm seeing everything completing successfully, but I might wonder, well, did I have any errors in a job that ran, let's say it's been a few days since I've logged in, and I might want to know, has anything bad happened over that time? Well, we have this new button called Show Failed that will filter the results, hide everything that has all successful entries, and only show me the things that have failed records. So you can see that what was 50 or so executions now is filtered down to only 3 that have errors, and then I can go ahead and drill into those like I normally would, look at the results, figure out why it erred, fix the data, and so forth.
Depending on how your notification settings are configured, you would get an email alert from Scribe Online telling you that something failed. So another scenario I could think of for using this is, let's say you got one of those, but it was a while before you got to go in there to log in. Just like you said, this would help you more quickly zero in on the rows that had the errors.
Right, especially if I have a job that runs very frequently. This is every hour, but I could set it up to run every minute or every 15 minutes. So even if I know that there was a problem yesterday, I might still have multiple screens of execution history that I would have to otherwise page through to find what I'm looking for. And so if I click Show All, that'll bring me back to the original view. The other thing that we have added here is a date time filter. So again, if you got an email, say 2 days ago, you could filter it down and say, I don't want to look at the whole 45 days of history. I want to look specifically at what happened, let's say 2 days ago. Today's the 13th. So if I back my filters up and look just at May 11th, then I would only see the jobs that ran during that date. And then I could even go further and zero on a specific time of the day. And that just helps you to find the things that you're...
Now you mentioned 45 days. I think it might be worth giving just a short explanation about that, right? So we keep this execution history for every solution that runs, and then we store this execution history on the cloud. It's available for people to log in and view, but we don't keep it forever.
Correct. And if you do want to save it, then you would need to offload that to your own system and not,
Okay.
because we're only going to keep it for 45 days.
Okay.
All right. All right, so next, the other two features that we want to look at have to do with your agents. And they both pertain really only to on-premise agents. You can see I have a cloud agent and I have an on-premise agent here.
Right.
One thing that we've added is related to agent logging. And you
Okay.
might ask, well, what is agent logging?
You
Why
saved
do
me
I
from
care?
asking.
Yeah, but the agent, while it's running, if it encounters any kind of errors or strange conditions, it has the ability to write those out to a local log.
Right.
And so if you're having trouble and you contact our technical support, they might ask you to either increase the logging levels or get the logs for them or give them access to the logs. And with this new feature, we're able to change the logging levels from the cloud and not have to necessarily access the machine that the agent's running on.
So anywhere you could log into Scribe Online and access the Scribe Online organization, you can direct that on-premise agent to log at these different levels.
That's correct.
Okay.
So right now, I'm not doing any logging at all. Let's say I wanted to increase my logging level to include error warning and information level log entries. All I have to do is check those off, click OK, and that cloud is going to send those instructions down to the agent, so the agent will start logging those events where it wasn't doing it before.
And where are these log files stored?
They're stored on the agent.
Okay, so that would be, for a local agent, would be the computer on which the agent's installed. There's some folder where the agent program is, and then these log files are stored inside of that folder.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. And the second feature we have is also sort of remote administration of your on-premise agent. It's this restart button. Prior to this release, to restart the agent, you had to have access to the machine that's running on. You have to go into the Windows services, stop and restart. For some people, that's difficult. Like you were saying, Mark, you might be traveling, you might not have access to the machine, or you might have IT governance that prevents you from getting direct access. So here I can just restart this agent directly from the cloud by clicking this button. It's going to ask me, do I want to wait until any solutions that are running finish before I restart, or do I want to interrupt the job that might be running right now? I know there's nothing. Yeah, in general, it would be safer to choose later, and I know there's nothing running right now, so I can just choose that one anyway. And it's going to go ahead and stop my agent and then restart it.
All right, so in effect, what's going on here is that you're logging into Scribe Online, you're telling it that you want this agent to be restarted. You get a choice as to when that happens, and then that information you're doing here is sort of communicated through the Scribe Online cloud, which communicates with the agent and gives the instruction to shut down, or to restart, not to shut down, to restart.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
And you specifically talked about these two features with agents about premise agents, so it might be worth talking just a little bit about what a cloud agent is.
Sure. So if I look at my cloud agent, you'll see that when I open it up to edit it, I don't have the checkboxes for logging levels because I don't have that choice for cloud agents. Scribe decides what level of logging the cloud agents run at.
And those cloud agents are hosted in the Scribe cloud.
That's correct.
We don't give you as much, and so we manage those as part of our infrastructure for the Scribe Online cloud, and we don't give administrators as much access to them as we do on premise agents.
And likewise, I don't have the restart option in cloud agents as well.
Okay.
The Scribe operations team will decide if and when cloud agents ever need to be restarted, so you don't need to worry about it. It's sort of automatic from your point of view.
Terrific. Anything that we left off your list?
No, I think those are the highlights of the release.
Terrific. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us, Paul. We hope you come back another time to learn some more tips and tricks from our Scribe experts. Thank you.